That morning, there was an odd weight to the desert air in Flagstaff, heavy with heat, but still heavier with anxiety. A hawk hovered over the scrub trees in the distance, its shadow making slow circles over the fissured Coyote Pass ground. They had once held this region in high regard. A pledge. An empty canvas for a future in which the Brown family may establish roots alongside one another, with each wife having her own piece of land, unique house, and sense of security. But now there was only quiet and dust, as well as secrets. The living room of a dull rental home on the outskirts of town felt like a pressure cooker. The slatted shadows from the drawn blinds fell on the old carpeting and shabby furniture. There was a slight smell of mildew in the corners. Coffee cups, open computers, unpaid bills, a crumpled fast food bag, and a desperate atmosphere, so thick you could cut it with a knife, were all scattered on a folding table that had been set up in the middle. The flamboyant dad who used to confidently and swaggerly waltz across television screens did not resemble Kody Brown, who sat at the table. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. At the temples, his blonde locks had become gray and lost their elasticity. His formerly dominant and piercing eyes now wandered uneasily between his phone and the stacks of paper. Like a man waiting for an executioner, he looked at the door every few seconds. Robyn sat in the corner of the couch, curled up like a scared child. Her mascara stuck to her lids in dried clumps from a night of crying, and her long hair was tangled at the ends. She had her arms firmly wrapped around her knees and was dressed in yoga pants and one of Kody's old flannel shirts. Her cheeks were chapped from continual wiping, and her eyes were puffy. Like a death notice, the letter from TLC's legal team sat in her lap. She was unable to get herself to read it once again. Both of them anticipated it. However, they were unaware that she would start the fire. There was no knock, and the front door opened. Kody flinched at the sound alone. Robyn whimpered out loud. They knew without having to see who it was. Even before she entered, they sensed her presence. Brown Janelle. Her boots thudded softly on the worn tile floor as she walked in slowly and steadily. Her navy blouse was sticking to her body from the heat, and her jeans were covered with dust from the desert. She didn't appear glitzy. She didn't appear dramatic. She appeared determined, nevertheless, as if she had survived a fire and emerged from it hardened rather than shattered. She carried a stainless steel water bottle in one arm and a manila envelope in the other. Her jaw was clenched, yet her eyes were serene. Something coiled inside her, a silent rage encased in control. Kody got out of his chair midway. He forced a smile that more closely resembled a grimace and added, "Janelle, let's avoid making this look bad. We can have a conversation. We can resolve this like, sit down," she interrupted in a forceful but hushed voice. He stopped. Robyn remained still. Her head remained lowered. Janelle moved to the middle of the room, laid the envelope down as if it were made of glass, and laid her water bottle delicately on the table. With a deliberate motion, she removed the contents and spread them out on the table after her fingers briefly touched the surface, as though debating whether to wait a moment longer. Pages. Dozens of them. Bank statements, loan contracts, credit reports, business registrations, court documents, and a thorough forensic examination of the family's financial situation. The space became icy. Still speaking calmly, Janelle started, "I want to be very clear. This is not what I wanted to do. I gave you every opportunity to tell the truth, to clarify, to make it better." Kody glanced at her, then back to the papers. "What's all this?" "You are well aware of what it is," she said, her initial outburst of rage piercing the atmosphere. Then, gathering herself, she went on, "It's the truth. Every money has been tracked down. Every falsehood is revealed." At last, Robyn raised her head. Her mouth quivered. "Please, Janelle. It wasn't meant to go like this. I was promised it was safe by Kody. For the family, that is. For everyone." For the first time in months, Janelle's voice softened as she fixed Robyn with her complete attention, but it was the softness of disappointment rather than sympathy. "I thought that once," she remarked. "I thought that his decisions and our collective sacrifices were done with the family's best interests in mind. I trusted him enough to put my name on that LLC. I had faith in you. I now learn that you used it as leverage to obtain a $2 million loan without telling me. You used it to finance your Airbnb dream and online store. Even the Kody past property taxes were not paid by you. Kody's knuckles became white as his hands tightened their hold on the chair's sides. With weakness, he said, "I didn't know." "You were aware," Janelle said bluntly. "You simply didn't give a damn. You destroyed everything that stood in your way because you were so consumed with creating your kingdom and being the protagonist of your own tale. The show has now been canceled. The plug was pulled by TLC. The funds are no longer there. Additionally, the land, which was supposed to be our children's legacy, has been stripped and mortgaged." She grabbed a single page and forcefully placed it on the table before him. "As collateral, you gave the LLC my share of Kody Pass. Without my permission. Without making a single phone call." Robyn's face was hidden. "It was meant to strengthen us," Janelle responded, her voice trembling now with emotion. "No, Robyn. It strengthened you. It strengthened him. This family's bones were used to build your castle, and now it's collapsing." The ensuing hush was intolerable. Even the cameras were afraid to move. For the first time, Meri, who had been standing by the wall the whole time, moved forward. She slowly read one of the pages she had taken up. Her visage, which was frequently the subject of resentment or perplexity, now conveyed something more profound, something hurt, something in mourning. "She's telling the truth," Meri remarked quietly. "I also saw the email. Kody, you faked her signature. The filing was fabricated by you." Kody's expression fell apart. "My goal was to keep us afloat. I had the thought." "You were mistaken," Janelle muttered. She turned and left after saying that. Not with rage. Not in a flamboyant manner. However, with a calm, collected elegance, the type that only comes from knowing that you have finally spoken the truth, even at the expense of everything. Robyn broke down in sobs behind her. The weight of his decisions eventually pressed down on him with intolerable force as Kody sat still, gazing at the jumble of documents on the table. The sun was still shining outside, but there was an ashy scent in the air. And there's more. Sister Wives' most recent episodes were incredibly sad as we watched the family cope with Garrison Brown's untimely passing. Fans are now able to observe how Kody Brown and Janelle Brown handled the grief of their son's suicide in 2024. The loss is devastating for Janelle and Kody, who buried their baby in Wyoming, and it's evident as they try their hardest to cope with the grieving process. In spite of everything, the show emphasizes how much they all loved Garrison and how each person grieves in their own unique way. And Kody was devastated by the loss. The patriarch disclosed that he had anxiety attacks while dealing with crippling waves of grief. "You experience grief in waves." In an open examination of his grief following Garrison's suicide, Kody said, "When it hits me, I can't run from it. Garrison was just 25. If I cry it out or if I sob it out, I can cut it short, but when that wave comes, I cannot prevent it from affecting me," Kody continued in a vulnerable gesture. "The first person to hold him was me. My son is this. He was rocked to sleep by me. I go through this phase of sorrow." Kody is already grieving the loss of his baby, but he is also overcome with regret about all the other outcomes. Before Garrison passed away, the father and son were at odds, and now Kody regrets not talking to him more and questions whether things would have turned out differently if he had taken a different course of action. Kody said, "It will sometimes overcome me out of the blue, like an anxiety attack of some sort. I have a strong, overpowering sensation that I won't see him ever again. Many things remain unspoken and unfinished. I'll never stop wondering what might have been in the future." Every member of the Brown family is paying tribute to Garrison in their own unique way, despite the difficult journey. On social media, Janelle frequently pays homage to her son by posting tidbits of information about his life. In honor of Garrison's passion for animals, Sister Wives viewers even made a donation to an animal sanctuary. Kody Brown, the star of Sister Wives Season 19, was previously married to 4 women, but he did not treat each one fairly. His family was destroyed as a result of the polygamous patriarch's preference for one of his wives over the others. He was helpless to a certain degree. He was more drawn to his 4th and youngest wife, which was unavoidable, but it made his other wives feel awful about themselves. Kody only had 3 wives when the well-liked reality series debuted in 2010, but his desire to one of them made it impossible to maintain the multiple family. Polygamy is difficult enough. Each wife presided over her wing of the house in the multi-unit complex in Utah where they all resided. Robyn Brown, Kody's 4th wife, was courted and married in the first season of the show. The dynamic was altered when Robyn and her 3 children from her former marriage were added to the family. All 3 of Kody's prior wives had left the marriage by the time Sister Wives season 19 premiered. Kody and Robyn met in 2009 when he and his first wife, Meri Brown, went to the same party. Robyn's attractiveness to Kody helped push his other spouses away. Kody was encouraged to court Robyn by Meri, who was the one who initially met her. Eventually, the single mother would grow to regret her role. In order to marry Robyn and adopt her children from a previous marriage, Kody asked Meri to file for divorce in 2014. Meri concurred, but their connection deteriorated over time, particularly after Meri chose to split from Kody in 2022. In a recent Sister Wives season 19 episode, Janelle Brown, Kody's second wife, revealed some of Kody's initial thoughts about Robyn. "So, all of a sudden, I met Robyn, and she's this diesel jeans model, and she's everything I want," Janelle claimed, with Kody saying as much. Kody need to have done more to treat his other 3 spouses equally, even if they could always tell he was more attracted to Robyn. His incapacity to do so ultimately cost him his family. Kody's past wives talked about his obsession in appearances in a Sister Wives season 19 episode. Kody liked makeup, Christine, the 3rd wife, clarified. Meri agreed, saying, "It was like you had to always look nice. It mattered to him so much." She also mentioned that Kody used to take her shopping for clothes when they first started dating. Kody's always wanted people around him to look good. Kody's interest in appearance was disregarded by Janelle. The Browns were a happy family until Sister Wives debuted in 2010. They offered a picture of a successful polygamous family to counter all the unfavorable perceptions that the general public had. Unfortunately, the program ultimately documented the breakup of the Brown family. Kody married Robyn during the first season of the show, and the family expanded. He had been married to Christine Brown, his 3rd wife, for 16 years. Kody had 4 spouses and 18 children at his height. Christine was the first of Kody's wives to leave the marriage. The pivotal moment occurred when Christine disclosed in a Sister Wives program that Kody had informed her he wasn't attracted to her after they were married. Additionally, he accused Meri, his first wife, of pushing him toward polygamy and stated that he was never attracted to her. He claimed that he stayed with all of his spouses out of obligation, implying that he never loved Janelle Brown, his second wife. In essence, Kody said that Robyn was the only wife he truly loved. Kody frequently made nasty remarks about his first 3 marriages in recent years. Even after his ex-wives had left the marriage, Kody still used derogatory terminology like soulmate to characterize his affections for Robyn, which caused them great pain. Kody ultimately acknowledged that he never intended such harsh remarks on Sister Wives season 19. He lashed out in pain, explaining that he was hurting in a time of acute self-awareness. Hearing him say that must have been reassuring to Meri, Janelle, and Christine. All 3 of Kody's ex-wives have significantly improved their appearance since splitting from him. Since splitting from Kody, Christine has shed an unbelievable 40 pounds, and she recently shared stunning before and after pictures on Instagram. Christine's before and after pictures have an absolutely amazing contrast. "Feeling amazing and full of energy, and it's only getting better," is the caption she wrote. Christine is not the only one of Kody's ex-wives who has changed how they look since ending their relationship. Meri, his ex-first wife, recently shared pictures of her amazing transformation on Instagram. Meri looks stunning on the red carpet in the pictures, sporting a stylish new choppy bob hairdo and a small black dress. Janelle, Kody's ex-second wife, recently shared a picture of herself looking quite put together on Instagram. The Sister Wives season 19 star attended a fancy fundraiser, wearing a stunning velvet gown. "My friend at April Rains and her husband had an extra ticket for a fundraiser this weekend in Raleigh," the post reads. Kody may have only had eyes for Robyn throughout his marriage, but his ex-wives have never looked better. Sister Wives viewers saw a version of Kody Brown they hardly recognized for the first time in years. It was fun to dress up and spend the evening out for a good cause. Supporters have observed him become more protective, aloof, and devoted solely to Robyn Brown, his only surviving wife. However, Kody did something surprising in a recent episode of the long-running TLC show. In a move that fans have long awaited, Robyn finally opened up to his children. In the end, a father grieved, listened, and, most importantly, showed up during an honest and emotional conversation. It just raises the question, has Robyn's influence always impeded his development? Or has one of his sons passed away? During a Valentine's Day recap on a recent Sister Wives program, Kody Brown revealed that he had traveled 8 hours to see his daughter Aspen in Utah. They had a serious but difficult conversation. Aspen even boldly questioned, "Why don't you like me?" Kody didn't become defensive like he usually does. Rather, he told her he loved her, acknowledged her grief, and apologized for his absence. There were no excuses for once. There were quiet moments spent with his other estranged children during the stay. Amazingly, Robyn, his most outspoken and protective wife, had little influence over his choice. Viewers were moved by Robyn's response to the discussion. Despite not being there, she allegedly reframed the conversation as hostile rather than encouraging Kody's sensitive move toward reconciliation. Supporters have long observed Robyn's propensity to steer the conversation around Kody's connection with his prior wives' children, frequently painting them as challenging or disloyal. Her presence may be more polarizing than uplifting, according to rumors stoked by this most recent response. In previous seasons, Robyn's power frequently accompanied her influence. She turned into a monster in the family's increasing estrangement, enforcing rigid COVID regulations that kept Kody away from his children and demanding devotion above all else. Fans are now wondering if her influence has been subtly detrimental because Garrison's death clouded the season and might have caused Kody to adjust his behavior. Something that has long been lacking from his on-screen persona, the loss seems to have jolted him into introspection. The encounter gave the father of 18 children a ray of optimism, even though it hasn't resolved years of emotional neglect. One thing is certain, Kody Brown is finally exhibiting signs of maturity without Robyn mediating every moment, even though it's too soon to tell if this marks a long-lasting shift. Furthermore, even the tiniest gesture of candor feels enormous to the multiple family that has been split apart for so long by conflicts and silence. The Brown family is in Wyoming burying Janelle and Kody Brown's son, Garrison Brown, at the beginning of the Sunday, May 18th episode of Sister Wives. The burial place is next to a piece of land that belongs to Kody's father, where Janelle's mother is also buried. This isn't a holiday. This is the embodiment of grief. Heartbroken, Janelle Brown tries to keep herself afloat by spending time with her grandchildren, teaching them how to cast fishing rods and assisting the children with planning the weekend's schedule. However, the tears do not appear suddenly. Christine, Janelle's dependable right hand through it all, is by her side with her own children. Janelle exclaims, "No mother should have to bury her child." Although she acknowledges that she dislikes fishing, she supports Janelle and has been there for her at every stage. The family makes an effort to stay positive and concentrate on getting better despite the serious cause for the get-together. Kody and Robyn, who are also in Wyoming but are totally cut off from the rest of the family, are conspicuously missing from these early moments. They handle the trip more like a rural vacation, riding horses, smiling for photos, and sharing history about Kody's father's land, rather than joining the bereaved group. Throughout the show, Robyn hardly ever brings up Garrison. Janelle considers how, despite Garrison's passing, Kody has yet to make amends with his living children. The alienation persists. She claims that he hasn't learned yet. Knowing that even this tragedy hasn't inspired Kody to mend what's broken only deepens the heartache. The only bright spot is that the siblings have become closer as a result of Garrison's passing, putting their past problems behind them in a display of solidarity. At the graveyard, Janelle gives Kody the symbolic responsibility of excavating Garrison's grave, which seems more motivated by Kody's guilt than by true healing. Viewers are left wondering where this energy was during Garrison's lifetime, despite his claim that it is a pilgrimage. Although it's obvious that the hard effort is a form of silent penance, Kody claims that it is easing his anguish. He admits, maybe unconsciously, that he owes his late son a debt of affection. "I want the experience of doing some real effort here," he says. A title card informs spectators that cameras were maintained at a respectable distance prior to the start of the service. On television, Janelle is numb and emotionally spent. "How have we arrived here?" she ponders. It's simply devastating. Tim, Kody's brother-in-law, is in charge of the service. He wears a Hawaiian shirt, which pays homage to Garrison's idea of launching a company called Bob's Floral, which would sell whimsical, tropical shirts. Tim strikes a careful mix between humor and unfiltered emotion in his eulogy. By making references to pride and regret, he subtly disparages Kody and alludes to a more profound comprehension of pain that only parents can fully appreciate. In a haunting moment that leaves viewers wondering if it's closure or just another attempt to rewrite history, Kody shares a dream he had of Garrison sitting on his bed saying, "I'm not gone, just stop playing sad music." Janelle hands him Garrison's urn to place in the grave, an act she later claims held symbolism. Christine's son-in-law, Mitch Thompson, had hand-carved Garrison's urn into a Viking ship, a nod to Garrison's love of Norse mythology. Paydon Brown placed his service tags in the grave, and other family members took turns putting sentimental objects there. "You have mine, I have yours," he declared. Hunter Brown included the helmet he wore when Garrison gave him his first military salute. Meri Brown has already resumed dating after divorcing her polygamous husband, but will the Sister Wives Season 19 star ever be able to trust a man again? Other family members added filth and souvenirs. Meri, 53, has seen a lot of hardship over the years, most of which has been shown on the popular unscripted program. After all was said and done, Kody Brown would marry 3 additional women after Meri, his first wife. Kody would have 18 children overall, whereas Meri could only have 1 biological child. The Browns were a generally content family when the show debuted in 2010. Although circumstances weren't always ideal with so many people present, Kody, his wives, and their kids largely loved one another. Everything had changed by the time Sister Wives Season 19 debuted. Meri was the third of Kody's 4 spouses to leave him, and he hardly spoke to many of his older children. Meri never intended to find herself unattached once more. She would adore falling in love once more. After the numerous betrayals she has experienced over the years, she is dating but finds it difficult to trust people again. Meri and Kody, who have a single child, have had a difficult time making their marriage work from the beginning. The Sister Wives couple's situation worsened over time, and they eventually ceased to live together as husband and wife. Meri attempted to accept the scraps that Kody was prepared to provide her for far too long. She didn't believe in divorce, and was devoted to upholding the polygamous principle for religious reasons. Even when Kody informed her that he had never loved her, she remained. Meri was devastated to learn that he had never loved her for a number of reasons. Not only does no woman want to hear it, but it also caused Meri to doubt her own judgment. She believed her spouse was in love with her during the entire time they were together. Meri's confidence in herself was shaken when she realized she was mistaken. The Sister Wives Season 19 star will find it hard to trust another man after being duped for so long. Kody was brutal to Meri in the last years of their marriage, but he grew more truthful with time. Kody was brutally honest about his marriage to Meri on Season 19 of Sister Wives. In an interview, he claimed to have realized immediately following their wedding that she would never be able to satisfy him. The Sister Women patriarch claimed that he wanted to lessen the discontent in his marriage to Meri by marrying his second wife, 55-year-old Janelle Brown, but that it only made matters worse. Kody felt obligated to continue his marriage to her, so he chose to take on more women instead. Kody continued by saying that the addition of Christine Brown, 52, his third wife, did not help the problem. Kody's romance with Meri was gone by the time he wed Robyn Brown, his fourth wife, who is 46 years old. Meri must have been hurt to hear Kody's confession, and she might find it difficult to believe the next man who claims to love her. Kody came up with a new cruel thing to say about Meri during Sister Wives Season 19. Kody claims that during their early marriage, Meri was constantly clinging to him. She would constantly sit on his lap because she couldn't take her hands off of him. According to Kody, Janelle's mother confronted him about it, stating that she felt uneasy witnessing him show Meri such care. Following that, Kody took care to keep his affections with his wife private in order to protect his other wives. There were others who deceived Meri besides Kody. The Sister Wives Season 19 star started seeing a man she met online more than 10 years ago. Meri eventually discovered that the man she was talking to was actually a woman who had been deceiving her. They had catfished Meri. It's not surprised that Meri finds it difficult to trust new people after being deceived so frequently. Meri wasn't the only wife Kody occasionally made disparaging remarks about. Perhaps she will continue to put herself out there until she finds true love. Kody's sentiments for Meri, Janelle, and Christine have grown increasingly aggressive in recent years. He frequently made disparaging remarks about them and even referred to Robyn as his soulmate when describing his affections for her. Even after his ex-wives had left the marriage, this still caused them great pain. Kody ultimately acknowledged that he never intended such harsh remarks on Sister Wives Season 19. He clarified that he was lashing out because he was in anguish. Hearing him express that must have been comforting to his ex-wives, particularly Meri. Knowing that her relationship with Kody was unique, even if it didn't last, should cheer her up. At the conclusion of their relationship, Kody moves Meri to Utah and tells her, "Meri, it's the end of an era," with tears in his eyes. Meri agrees, stating, "We had something. We had something really good." Meri's willingness to pursue love again is admirable, but the Sister Wives Season 19 star needs to regain her trust. Let us know in your comments. And stay tuned by subscribing our channel to get more updates like this. Thanks everyone.